Cheers.
Going up here.
Hey Scotty. Hi mate, how are you? Fantastic. Oh man.
Good to be here.
Tonight's what it's all about. The last few hours have been fantastic. Just seeing land. Didn't get to see the mountain because of the land of a long cloud, but yeah, just seeing the land, the lights, and being able to come here on target is just perfect ending. So thanks for coming out. Really appreciate it, and I'd love to be able to chat to every one of you who made the effort to come down here at some point. I need a shower.
Who's going to stand?
I'm done sitting. Okay, hey, look, welcome everyone. Thanks for sticking around. We've got a lot of media here. We want to find out all the important stuff from Scott. So, guys, just 15 minutes or so, and let's whoever's lead the questioning. And
Scott, physically you must be exhausted. Obviously you are a little bit, but emotionally and mentally, how do you feel now to have achieved that goal?
It hasn't sunk in yet. I know I had a few days to think about it, but I wasn't thinking about it. Based on last time, we all know what can happen, so I refused to think about it until I hit the beach. So it hasn't really sunk in yet. I don't know what I've achieved. It was bloody hard work. I'm knackered. But yeah, it'll sink in over the next few days. And I guess next for me is really about thanks, starting with this one. And right through AFCO, a whole lot of sponsors and a whole lot of people that have just put time and effort into this project. It was me out there for a few days, but it was a lot of people before that.
How did you feel when you came in and you saw everyone here and then the fireworks started?
That's amazing. It was very, very cool. Yeah, it's special to have people make the effort to come down on a night like that and just turn up and be there. Yeah, like I said, it'd be great to have the time to stop and talk to everybody. That'd be awesome. But yeah, it was amazing.
9 years in the making, was it harder than you thought it would be?
No. No one said it was going to be easy.
How difficult was it?
Epically difficult. It was difficult in every single area that you pointed out. Every time you broke it down, it got difficult. Every time you tried to put it together, it got difficult. And the paddling, that was probably the easy part.
What did you do at night time?
I paddled. Basically, safety dictates whether you're paddling or not. So some nights I paddled, some nights I didn't. On a good day, you're paddling for 16 hours. On a bad day, you're stuck in the cabin. And on a worse day, you're going backwards.
Scott, what's it like being out there? And I guess you're still in the water, but the world's still moving at home, and there's milestones. There's a lot going on that you're not there for, birthdays or whatever. What's that like, knowing things are going on at home, and I guess you're only on the set phone?
Really hard. It's amazing. We've had a lot of family deaths and friends, and they've only happened when I've been out there. It's freakish. And in between, nothing. Everybody's been happy. So you know, when that stuff happens, that is incredibly hard to not be part of that. But in terms of me being out there, there is no world. I've seen water. This is sensory overload. I've seen water for the last, I don't know how many days it was, and that's all you see. You know, a couple of birds and some fish, but it's just water, and your senses just there is no world, and there's a good side to that. You know, there's no screen time. There's no you know, none of the bad stuff you want. It's very pure.
What did you do differently this time from last time?
Probably everything. The best way to describe it's probably last time was an adventure, this time was a race. That's the best way to describe it, I think.
Why do you say race? What do you mean by that?
Well, last time was an adventure because I hadn't seen or done any of it. This time I'd done all of it, bar the last 80 Ks. So the last 2 days have been a novelty and fantastic, and sorry, but I took my time coming in the gate there because it was special. But it was very different to last time because basically it was trying to improve in every area, and I did that in most areas.
Did you ever have doubt?
You always have a little bit of doubt because you're dealing with gear that's getting hammered all the time, just getting hammered. So you've always got a little bit of doubt there, but doubt in myself, no.
So how do you remain optimistic when you're in the middle of nowhere by yourself?
Oh, that's a long story. There's lots of tricks. It depends on what's happening and how it's happening. There's a lot of techniques you use, but the hardest part of it is lying inside that cabin and having to stay still for, you're basically trapped. And until the wind stops blowing and trying to push you backwards. If you got it right, which I did the first time in the currents on the Aussie side because they're a lot stronger. So I had 45 knot gales and I was still progressing into them. But currents become very fickle and you go backwards. And that's tough. But yeah, you have to use a lot of mental techniques. You've got all day to lie still and be with yourself. You need to come up with some pretty good stuff and different techniques. You know, you can only meditate for so long. So use every trick in the book.
Did you learn anything new about yourself?
Not really, but I definitely created some new, or broke through some limits. I definitely did stuff I didn't think I could do. And challenge myself to the max.
Can you give us some examples of what you did achieve? Besides the obvious.
What I did achieve. Because when you're trapped inside a cabin and you've got 5 days and you're going backwards and you can't see a way out of it, like you can't see far enough ahead to figure out how you're going to progress again. That's challenging every minute of the day, just to stay relaxed in that environment, and to make sure you don't get negative, because if you get negative then you can be in trouble, you know. So yeah, it was just challenging the emotions, challenging what was going on, challenging myself, and then some days I paddled to the point of exhaustion and then got up and paddled harder the next day. You know, I've been an athlete most of my life and challenged myself in that way, so I've sort of stepped up again there, which was amazing because I'm getting old.
Had you made any special modifications to the kayak for this particular attempt?
It looks very similar to the other one, but as I look at it, nothing is the same. Nothing. Every centimetre of it is different. Everything.
Can you elaborate?
Well, it's carbon for a start. The last one was 140 kgs naked. This one is less than 70. Different ballast, different weighting, different systems, slightly, a couple of centimetres extra in the cockpit, just amazing. You know, just every detail was sort of different and used differently as well.
And telecommunications and contact with the outside world, very important for you in there?
Yeah, that's one of the reasons I stopped at Lord Howe, was I wanted to double up on the comms. But the hard part is the gear. I mean, it's so wet out there. You can buy something that's waterproof and, you know, IP rated and all this sort of. It's not. It's not water. Nothing's waterproof out there. Not in that environment. I mean, you've got a that by that. I've lived in that by that, and it's wet. It's really wet and really harsh.
What's next?
The family time. Yeah.
And Sarah, what's it like for you to have Scott home?
Oh, great. yeah, absolutely. No, couldn't wait. I was starting to be too long.
Yeah. It was stretching.
Yeah,
What goes through your mind when he's out there, and bearing in mind what you had to go through last time?
Oh, yeah. Look, there's a bit of worry, of course, that's natural, but at the end of the day, I knew that, you know, he's got the physical and psychological goods, you know, skills to do it, and then he did it last time. So, yeah, just need to do that last little bit this time.
The children are that much older this time. What was the experience like for them? You would have witnessed some of that.
Yeah, that's right. Oh, look, still just turned 8, is still, you know, a little young, but at the end of the day, yeah, there was definitely more comprehension. But I don't think, yeah, he will fully understand what his dad's done until he's a little older. But he'll remember, which is great. And tonight was very, very special. Thank you, everyone. Just made it fantastic. So thanks for all coming out.
Can I make an apology on behalf of the Māori race? There was nobody here to welcome you.
You're here.
Keep you home. Good to see you.
Can you describe any of the hairy moments that you went through out there?
Tell us about the shark. The shark? Yeah. Oh, it was just a frisky little bugger. It was, I don't know, it was, probably wouldn't have been a couple of metres, but it was right on dusk, and I spent about half an hour trying to shake him off my rudder, basically. He was just absolutely frisky. Running around, racing, he'd drop back, I'd stop paddling and he'd drop back, and then I'd start paddling, he'd come up and thrash around and start sniffing at the rudder, and then I'd stop paddling, slap the water a bit, and so we played that game for about half an hour. But he was just bored, I think.
He's friendly?
Yeah. Yeah, friendly with teeth.
And how about the lightning storm?
Yeah, there was one. I mean, there's lightning storms out there all the time, and that's fine, and I'm just sitting in a little carbon conductor. But that one missed me. That's the one storm I didn't tell Nigel about any storms, but the one storm I did tell him about, it was coming and it was just connecting all over the place, and it just sort of, I got the edge of it, which was lucky because it was just connecting all over the place. Couldn't believe it. So I texted Nigel and said, hold your breath. So.
What was the highest wave?
I don't know. I didn't measure them, but I think it was 6 plus, which last time was 8 plus. So I don't think I got anything as big as 8 this time. But the size of the waves is not the issue. It's the frequency. So if there's a 20-second gap between waves, it doesn't mean anything. It could be 20 metres, doesn't matter. But if there's a 9-second gap, then that's a different story. But
Do you go and hide in the cabin?
Depends which way the wind's going. I only had 2 tail winds above 25 knots in the whole trip, which was a little disappointing because I kind of liked those rides. And one of those was 2 days ago, and I did I think close to 80 k's that day. So that's the fun stuff, and that's kind of what you do it for. But I only got 2 of them. And the hard part about this body of water, it's not the distance, it's the way the water works. It's so choppy out there. There were not many days where you couldn't see at least 3 different waves coming at you. So they were coming from that direction, and that direction. And that's why the Tasman's hard, because you end up with the washing machine. Whereas the Atlantic, for example, it's all one way. Makes it much easier.
Is there a book coming?
Yeah, probably. There was a book in the last one.
Okay, any more questions? Did you have fun?
Yes. Probably not as much fun as the first one. Like I say, it was a race. Yeah, it was a race. But yeah, I like racing too. So. No?